what's going on, everybody? Thank you once again for clicking on LJH Productions. I hope everybody's doing well. It's my second video, and for my second one, I thought we would go over a couple of horror movies, a trilogy actually, that I find pretty interesting and give you my thoughts and opinions on. They're not too old, but they're not too new at this point, but I think it'd be great to go over. So, what we're going to go over is The Conjuring's Annabelle. Now, I happen to find these movies very creepy. I think they're done very, very well. I think the director did a very, very good job with them. But the thing about the Annabelle that scares me the most is that it is based off true events about a possessed Raggedy Ann doll and paranormal investigators came in, took the doll, and have it locked up. And what I like about Annabelle is, one, the doll in the movie is very creepy compared to like a Chucky or a Dolly Dearest or something down that line of or Talking Tina from the Twilight Zone. For those of you who don't get it, like Talking Tina. Twilight Zone is a black and white series. If you have never seen it, it's really, really good actually. But again, Annabelle being based off true events, it makes so whoever experienced this kind of had to sit down with a writer and they're talking about it, and then the writer visualized, this is how they saw it. And then the writer made it a very creepy movie. And then the director comes in and has their own twist on it. So this movie was something else. I found it to be scary at times. I found it to be jumpy. It's one of those horror movies that got me, but I love it, and I would not ever watch it. I think it's something I could watch over and over again. I do watch it over again. I enjoy it a lot. And going back to this doll, I mean, if you look at her, she is creepy. Like, who would want that in their home? Like, I'd be afraid just to fall asleep with it staring at me. But anyway, so the first Annabelle was really, really good. And if I had to give it a 1 out of 10, I would say the first Annabelle gets an 8. Because I do think, for being a Conjuring spinoff, I do think they did it very, very well. I think the visuals and I think the director did a very, very good job. And it's produced very, very well. I think they did a very good job with something based off a true story. And I think they kind of made it their own a little bit as well, but still kept whoever was talking about their experience. I think they kept it like that as well. I think they used it a lot more than most ones would, and gave it its own twist. And then of course after that we have Annabelle Creations, which again, can't get over that doll. Like, would you want your kid having that doll? I sure as hell wouldn't. That's crazy. Scary doll. But, moving on. This is where the writers started to use it to make their own idea. Because once an original makes money, there's got to be a 2. So they started Annabelle Creations, and they ran with their own idea, and they kept a little plots from the first one in it, and just made it their own thing. And the bumps and chills in this one they're there, but they're not as good. But again, the visuals, the darkness of this movie really, really shows. And I do think It could have been a little better, but I think their point comes across for the second one. It's like, hey, this doll isn't done, and it shows more of a backstory toward Annabelle as well. And I think that really helped this one out a lot. So if I was to rate Annabelle Creations from a 1 to 10, I would say it gets about a 5. I think it gets a 5 because it was hard to compare to the original. But then Annabelle Comes Home came out, and I was really skeptical. I said, really, what else could they do? Like, you're making your own story at this point. But going into Annabelle Comes Home, I didn't really expect too much. Oh, but did I get more than I anticipated on after watching Annabelle Comes Home. I found it a lot more creepier than the second one. I think the story behind it is a lot more creepy. The girl that hangs out with this doll in this movie, that kind of gets attached to it. I won't, get too far into it. When the case is accidentally opened, she's a very creepy girl. And this one is just more based off of what happens when a demon leaves the paranormal activity investigators safe zone in their basement, basically, and a lot of weird stuff starts happening. They come home and they have to fix it. So this gave it a good story twist. Like, I liked this idea. It was possessing the whole house and making the other things come to life and kind of letting other demons out that shouldn't have been let out. It was a scene with a ghostly piano guy, which was insane. It was done differently than the other two. Like, it was on its own idea, but they went a different route with it and just made Annabelle the main focus because her cage happened to get open. For what I haven't been explaining in the other ones is that Annabelle is behind a glass cabinet so that she does not harm or possess anything else. So, but Annabelle Comes Home is definitely, I would say, better than the second one. I mean, that's just me. You guys can leave your comments down below. I'd like to know what Annabelle movies you prefer. Like, which ones do you love the most? Is it Annabelle Creations, or Annabelle Comes Home? Let me know which one you prefer the most. But as far as Annabelle Comes Home, if I had to rate it from 1 to 10, I would give Annabelle Comes Home a solid 7. Again, the director did a very good job with making the story come together. It has great visuals. It's one of those movies where you can tell they really worked hard on the editing. It's got a lot of darkness to it, which I like in a horror movie every now and then. So I would say that would be definitely what I'd give Annabelle Comes Home. And I believe there is another Annabelle in the works coming out, so I'd be curious to see how they go about that. The Conjuring series is a very interesting series, and some of the spin-offs are good and some of them are not. Like, going back to the Annabelles for a second here, I love the Annabelles. However, I found the Nun very boring. I didn't find it scary. I was like, what am I watching? It wasn't for me. The Annabelles hit me really hard, and I think that is why I love them so much. Because when a horror movie can hit you and have you look back after you watch it like, what is that? You watched a good horror movie. If you come out of a horror movie paranoid, that horror movie did its job. And I really feel that Annabelle has done that. Annabelle makes you feel paranoid. It makes you want to look over your shoulder every couple seconds until you forget that you watched it, and then you watch it again and you're looking over your shoulder. That to me is a good horror film. something that can scare you and make you paranoid after you watch it, to the point where you want to sleep with the lights on. But anyway, guys, that was my look into all three Annabelles. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Turn on those notifications, hit those bells, subscribe, and I promise to bring you another video as soon as I can. I'll try to make them more frequent. That way, we get this channel moving, keep it going. I got a few things up my sleeve. I want to review a couple of things coming up, so look out for them. And I want to thank you guys for coming to my channel once more. Thank you. Leave your comments down below. Leave your thoughts. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in. And as always, I'm LJH, and like they say in the movies, that's a wrap.